Hello, everybody. How's it going? I thought I'd do another one of the patriarchs, uh, Yahudah. The copy of the words of Yahudah, the words he spoke to his sons before he died. They gathered themselves together, therefore, and came to him. And he said to them, my sons, to Yahudah your father. I was the fourth son, born to my father Yaakov, and Leah, my mother, named me Yahudah, saying, I give thanks to Yahweh, because he has given me a fourth son also. I was swift in my youth and obedient to my father in all, and I honored my mother and my mother's sister. And it came to be when I became a man that my father baraked me, saying, You shall be a sovereign, prospering in all matters. And Yahweh showed me favor in all my works, both in the field and in the house. I know that I raced a deer and caught it and prepared the meat for my father, and he ate. And the gazelles I used to overcome in the chase and overtake all that was in the plains. I overtook a wild horse and caught it and tamed it. I slew a lion and snatched a kid out of its mother's mouth, or snatched a kid out of its mouth. I took a bear by its paw and hurled it down the cliff, and it was crushed. I outran the wild boar, and seizing it as I ran, I tore it in pieces. In Hebron, a leopard leapt on my dog, and I caught it by the tail and hurled it on the rocks, and it was broken in two. I found a wild ox feeding in the fields, and seizing it by the horns and spinning it around and stunning it, I threw it from me and slew it. And when the two sovereigns of the Canaanites came, sheathed in armor against our flocks, and much people with them, I single-handedly rushed upon the sovereign of Hatzor and smote him on the shin guards, and dragged him down. And so I slew him. And the other, the sovereign of Tapua, I slew as he sat upon his horse, and so I scattered all his people. And I found Akur, the sovereign, a man of great height, hurling spears before and behind as he sat on horseback. And I lifted a stone of 5,000 shekels weight. 5,000 shekels. Well, that must be pretty heavy. I'm not sure of the 5,000 shekels. Okay. And threw it and smote his horse and killed it. And I fought with the other for 2 hours. And I split, forgive me. And I split his shield in two. And I cut off his feet and killed him. And as I was stripping off his breastplate, see, 9 men, his companions, began to fight with me. And I wound my garment on my hand, and I slung stones at them, and killed 4 of them, and the rest fled. And Yaakov, my father, slew Baalesheth, sovereign of all the sovereigns, a giant in strength, 12 amah high. And fear fell upon them, and they ceased fighting against us. Therefore my father was freed from anxiety in the battles which I was with my brothers. For he saw in a vision concerning me that a mighty messenger followed me everywhere that I should not be overcome. And in the south, there came upon us a greater battle than that in Shechem, and I joined in battle array with my brothers, and pursued 1,000 men, and slew of them 200 men, and 4 sovereigns. And I went up upon the wall, and I slew 4 mighty men. And so we captured Hatzor, and took all the spoil. On the next day, we departed to Aratan, a city strong and walled and inaccessible, threatening us with death. But God and I approached on the east side of the city, and Reuven and Levi on the west. And those that were upon the wall, thinking that we were alone, were drawn down against us. And so my brothers secretly climbed up the wall on both sides with stakes and entered the city while the men did not know. And we took it with the edge of the sword. And as for those who had taken refuge in the lower, we lit fire in the tower. We lit fire to the tower and took both it and them. And as we were departing, the men of Tapua rushed on our spoil, and delivering it up to our sons, we fought them as far as Tapua. And we slew them and burnt their city and took all that was in it as spoil. And when I was at the waters of Kozavah, the men of Yovel came against us to battle. And we fought with them and routed them, and we slew their allies from Shiloh, and we did not leave them strength to come against us. And the men of Machir came upon us the 5th day to seize our spoil, and we attacked them and overcame them in fierce battle. For there was a host of mighty men amongst them, and we slew them before they had gone up the ascent. And when we came to their city, their women rolled stones upon us from the brow of the hill on which the city stood. And Shimon and I hid ourselves behind the town, and took hold upon the heights, and destroyed the city also. And the next day it was reported that the sovereign of the city of Gaash was coming with mighty host against us. Therefore Dan and I disguised ourselves as Ammonites, and as allies went into their city. And in the depth of night our brothers came, and we opened the gates to them, and we destroyed all the men and their possessions, and we took as plunder all that was theirs, and we broke down their 3 walls. And we drew near to Timnah, where all the possessions of the opposing sovereigns was. Then, being insulted by them, I was therefore wroth, and rushed against them to the summit. And they kept slinging against me stones and darts, and had Don my brother not aided me, they would have slain me. Therefore we came upon them with wrath, and they all fled. And passing by another way, they pleaded with my father, and he made peace with them. And we did no harm to them, and they became compulsory labor to us, and we restored their goods to them. And I built Timnah, and my father built Pavael. I was 20 years old when this battle took place, and the Canaanites feared me and my brothers. And I had much livestock, and I had Chera, the Ultamite, good grief, Althulamite for chief herdsman. Some names are very interesting. And when I went to him, I saw Parsava, sovereign of Athulam, And he spoke to us, and he made us a feast. And when I was warmed, he gave me his daughter, Bathshua, as wife. She bare me Er and Onan and Shelah. Yahweh smote 2 of them, for Shelah lived, and you are his children. And 18 years my father dwelt in peace with his brother Esau and his sons with us. After that we came from Aram Naharim from Lavan. And when 18 years were completed in the 40th year of my life, Esau, the brother of my father, came upon us with a mighty and strong people. And Yaakov smote Esau with an arrow, and he was taken up wounded on Mount Seir. And as he went, he died at Anarim and Naniram. And we pursued after the sons of Esau. Now they had a city with walls of iron and gates of brass, and we could not enter into it, and we encamped around and besieged it. And when they had not opened to us in 20 days, I put up a ladder in the sight of all, and with my shield upon my head I went up, sustaining the assault of stones, upwards of 3 talents weight, and I slew 4 of their mighty men. And Reuven and Gad slew 6 others. Then they asked terms of peace from us, and having taken counsel with our father, we took them as compulsory labor. And they gave us 500 cores of wheat, 500 baths of oil, 500 measures of wine, until a scarcity of food when we went down to Mitzrayim. After these events, my son took Tamar from Aram Naharim as wife, a daughter of Aram. Now was wicked, and he was in need concerning Tamar, because she was not of the land of Canaan. And on the 3rd night, a messenger of Yahweh smote him. And he had not known her according to the evil craftiness of his mother, for he did not desire to have children by her. In the days of the wedding feast, I gave Onan to her in marriage. And he also in wickedness did not know her, though he spent a year with her. And when I threatened him, he went in to her. But he spilled the seed on the ground, according to the command of his mother, and he also died through wickedness. And I intended to give Shelah also to her, but his mother did not permit it. For she did evil against Tamar, because she was not of the daughters of Canaan, as she also herself was. And I knew that the nation of the Canaanites was wicked, but the impulse of youth blinded my heart. And when I saw her pouring out wine, owing to the drunkenness of wine, I was deceived and took her, although my father had not advised. And while I was away, she went and took a wife from Canaan for Shelah. And when I knew what she had done, I cursed her in the anguish of my being. And she also died through her wickedness, together with her sons. And after these events, while Tamar was a widow, she heard, after 2 years, that I was going up to shear my sheep, and adorned herself in bridal array, and sat by the gate in the city of Enaim. For it was a law of the Amorites that she who was about to marry should sit 7 days in whoring by the gate. Therefore, being drunk with wine, I did not recognize her, and her loveliness deceived me through the appearance of her adorning. And I turned aside to her and said, "Let me come in to you." And she said, "What do you give me?" And I gave her my staff, my cord, and the signet of my reign in pledge. And I went in unto her, and she conceived. And not knowing what I had done, I intended to put her to death. But she secretly sent my pledges and put me to shame. And when I called her, I also heard the secret words which I spoke when lying with her in my drunkenness. And I could not put her to death, because it was from Yahweh. For I said, possibly she did it shrewdly, having received the pledge from another woman. But I did not come near her again while I lived, because I had done this abomination in all Israel. Moreover, they who were in the city said, there was no whore in the gate, because she came from another place and sat for a while in the gate. And I thought that no one knew that I had gone into her. And after this, we came into Mitzrayim to Yosef because of the scarcity of food. And I was 46 years old, and I lived 73 years in Mitzrayim. And now I command you, my sons, listen to Yahudah your father. Guard my words to perform all the laws of Yahweh and to obey the commands of Yahweh. Do not walk after your lusts, nor in the imaginations of your thoughts in haughtiness of heart, and do not exult in the deeds and strength of your youth, for this is also evil in the eyes of Yahweh. Since I also exalted that in battles, no comely woman's face ever enticed me, and reproved Reuven my brother concerning Bilhah, the wife of my mother, or the wife of my father. The spirits of jealousy and of whoring arrayed themselves against me, until I lay with Bashua, the Canaanite, and Tamar, who was married to my sons. For I said to my father-in-law, I shall take counsel with my father, and so I shall take your daughter. And he was unwilling, but he showed me a boundless store of gold in his daughter's behalf, for he was a sovereign. And he adorned her with gold and pearls, and made her pour out wine for us at the feast with the loveliness of women. And the wine turned aside my eyes, and pleasure blinded my heart, and I became desirous, and I lay with her, and transgressed the command of Yahweh and the command of my fathers, and I took her as wife. And Yahweh repaid me according to the imagination of my heart, inasmuch as I had no joy in her children. And now, my sons, I say to you, do not be drunk with wine, for wine turns the heart away from the truth and arouses the passion of lust and leads the eyes into error. And that is so true. For if a man drinks wine to drunkenness, it disturbs the heart with filthy thoughts, leading to whoring, and inflames the body to fleshly union. And if the occasion of lust is present, he works the sin and is not ashamed. Such is the drunken man, my sons. For he who is drunk esteems no man. See, it also led me astray, so that I was not ashamed of the multitude in the city, and that before the eyes of all I turned aside to Tamar, and I committed a great sin, and I uncovered the covering of my son's shame. After I had drunk wine, I did not revere the commands of Yahweh, and I took a woman of Canaanite as wife. For the man who drinks wine needs much discretion, my sons, and in this is discretion. In drinking wine, a man may drink as long as he maintains decency. But if he goes beyond this limit, the spirit of deceit attacks his heart, and it makes the drunkard to talk filthily and to transgress and not to be ashamed, but even to boast in his shame and to consider himself esteemed. He that commits whoring is not aware when he suffers loss and is not ashamed when put to shame. For even though a man is a sovereign and commits whoring, he is stripped of his sovereignty by becoming the slave of whoring, as I myself also suffered. For I gave my staff, that is, the support of my tribe, and my cord, that is, my power, and my signet, or signet. It was signet. That is the esteem of my reign. And indeed, I repented of these matters. Wine and meat I did not eat until my old age, nor did I see any joy. And the messenger of Yahweh showed me that women rule over sovereign and beggar alike forever. And from the sovereign they take away his esteem, and from the brave man his might, and from the beggar even that little which he is the support of his poverty, which is the support of his poverty. And so, my sons, observe the limit in wine, for in it there are 4 evil spirits of lust, of heated desire, of recklessness, of greedy gain. If you drink wine in gladness, be moderate in the reverence of Yahweh. For if in gladness the reverence of Yahweh turns away, then drunkenness arises and shamelessness sneaks in. But if you would live sensibly, do not touch wine at all, lest you sin in words of outrage and in fightings and slanders and transgressions of the commands of Yahweh, and you perish before your time. Moreover, wine reveals the secrets of Yahweh and men, even as I also revealed the commands of Yahweh and the secrets of Yaakov my father to the Canaanite woman, Meshua, which Yahweh commanded me not to reveal. And wine is a cause both of fighting and confusion. And now I command you, my sons, not to love silver, nor gaze upon the loveliness of women, because for the sake of silver and loveliness I was led astray to Bathsheba, the Canaanite. For I know that because of these 2 matters, my people shall fall into wickedness, for they shall destroy even wise men among my sons, and shall cause the reign of Yahudah to be diminished, which Yahweh gave me, because of my obedience to my father. For I never caused grief to Yaakov my father, for all that he commanded I did. And Yitzchak, the father of my father, barak me to be sovereign in Yisrael, and Yaakov likewise further barak me, and I know that from me the reign shall be established. And I know what evils you shall do in the last days. Beware therefore, my sons, of whoring and the love of silver, and listen to Yahudah your father, for these matters withdraw you from the law of Yahweh, and blind the inclination of the being, and teach arrogance, and do not allow a man to have compassion on his neighbor. They rob his being of all goods, and oppress him with toils and troubles, and drive away sleep from him, and devour his flesh. And he inhabits the offerings of the Most High, and he does not remember the barakah of Yahweh. He does not listen to a Navi when he speaks, and resents the words of righteousness. For he is a slave to 2 contrary passions, and cannot obey Yahweh because they have blinded his being. And he walks in the day as in the night. My sons, the love of silver leads to idolatry, because when led astray through silver, men name as gods those who are not gods. I'm going to say deities, name as deities those who are not deities. And it causes him who has it to fall into madness, who has it. Forgive me. Let me try that again. My sons, the love of silver leads to idolatry, because when led astray through silver, men name as deities those who are not deities. And it causes him who has it to fall into madness. For the sake of silver, I lost my sons, and had not my repentance and my humiliation and the prayers of my father been accepted, I should have died childless. But the Most High of my fathers had favor on me, because I did it in ignorance. And the prince of deceit blinded me, and I sinned as a man and as flesh, being corrupted through sins. And I learned my own weakness while thinking myself untouchable. Now, therefore, my sons, that two spirits wait upon man, the spirit of truth and the spirit of deceit. And in the midst is the spirit of understanding of the heart, to which it belongs, to turn wherever it desires. And the works of truth and the works of deceit are written upon the hearts of men, and Yahweh knows each one of them. And there is no time at which the works of men can be hid, for they have been written on the heart itself before Yahweh. And the Spirit of truth testifies all matters and accuses all, and the sinner is burnt up by his own heart and cannot raise his face to the judge. And now, my sons, I command you, love Leah, that you may abide, and do not exalt yourselves against him, lest you be utterly destroyed. For Yahweh gave the rain to me, and the Kehanah to him, and he appointed the rain beneath the Kehanah. To me he gave the matters upon the earth, to him the matters in the Shamayim. As the Shamayim is higher than the earth, so is the Kehanah of Yahweh higher than the earthly rain, unless it falls away through sin from Yahweh and is dominated by the earthly rain. For the messenger of Yahweh said to me, Yahweh chose him rather than you to draw near to him and to eat of his table and to offer him and the first fruits of the best of the sons of Yisrael. But you shall be sovereign of Yaakov, and you shall be amongst them as the sea. For as on the sea, righteous and unrighteous are tossed about, some taken into captivity, while some are enriched. So also shall every nation of men be in you. Some shall be impoverished, being taken captive, and others grow rich by plundering the possessions of others. For the sovereigns shall be as sea monsters. They shall swallow men like fishes. They shall enslave the sons and daughters of free men. Houses, lands, flocks, silver they shall plunder. And with the flesh of many they shall unrighteously feed the ravens and the storks, and they shall advance in evil, raised in covetousness. And there shall be false prophets like tempests, and they shall persecute all righteous men. And Yahweh shall bring upon them divisions one against another, and there shall be continual battles in Israel. And my reign shall be brought to an end among men of another people, until the salvation of Israel comes, until the appearing of the Creator of righteousness, that Yaakov and all the Gentiles may rest in peace, and he shall guard the might of my reign forever. For Yahweh swore to me with an oath that he would not destroy the rain for my seed forever. Now I have much grief, my sons, because of your wickedness and sorceries and idolatries, which you shall practice against the rain, following mediums, diviners, and demons of error. You shall make your daughters singing girls and whores, and you shall mix in the abominations of the Gentiles. For because of these, Yahweh shall bring upon you scarcity of food and pestilence, death and the sword, distrust by enemies, and the revilings of friends, the slaughter of children, the violation of wives, the plundering of possessions, the burning of the Hekal, the laying waste of the land, the enslavement of yourselves among the nations. And they shall make some of you eunuchs for their wives, until Yahweh visits you, when you repent with a perfect heart and walk in all his commands, and he brings you up from captivity among the nations. And after these events, a star shall arise to you from Yaakov in peace, and a man shall arise from my seed, like the brilliance of righteousness, walking with the sons of men in meekness and righteousness, and no sin shall be found in him. We know who that is, don't we? And the Shamaim shall be open to him to pour out the Ruach, the Barakah of the Kodesh Father, and he shall pour out the spirit of favor upon you. And you shall be sons unto him in truth, and you shall walk in his commands, first and last. Then the scepter of my reign shall shine forth, and from your root a sprout shall arise, and from it shall grow a rod of righteousness to the Gentiles, to rightly rule and to save all that call upon Yahweh. And after these matters, Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov shall arise to life, and my brothers and I shall be chiefs of the tribe of Yisrael. Levi first, I second, Yosef third, Benjamin fourth, Shimon fifth, Yissachar sixth, and so all in order. And Yahweh shall barak Levi and the messenger of the presence, me, the powers of esteem, Shimon the Shamaim, Reuven the earth, Yissachar the sea, Zebulun the mountains, Yosef the Mishkan, Benjamin the luminaries, Dan, Edan, Naphtali the sun, Gad the moon, Asher. And you shall be the people of Yahweh, and have one tongue, and there shall be no spirit of deceit of Belial, for he shall be cast into the fire forever. And those who have died in grief shall arise in joy. And those who are poor for the sake of Yahweh shall be made rich. And those who are put to death for the sake of Yahweh shall awake to his chai. And the deer of Yahweh shall run in joyfulness, and the eagles of Yisrael shall fly in gladness, and all the people shall esteem Yahweh forever. Therefore, my sons, observe all the Torah of Yahweh, for there is expectation for all those who hold fast to his ways. And he said to them, see, this day I die before your eyes, 119 years old. Let no one bury me in costly garments, nor tear open my bowels. For those who are sovereigns do this, and carry me up to Hebron with you. And when he had said these words, Yahudah fell asleep, and his sons did according to all that he commanded them. And they buried him in Hebron with his fathers. And that is what Yahudah had to say to his sons. And, well, I don't know when I'll get to the next one, but I'll try soon. What's the next one? I think it's Yissachar. Yep, Yissachar. So until next time, see you guys later. Take care of yourselves.